Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dad Bods and Bad Attitudes. We are your hosts. I'm Christopher Samella. He's Mark Davis. Just a couple middle-aged white dudes with some guitars, dad bods, bad attitudes, and a whole lot of fire for what's going on in the world. And we're going to get right into the show and talk about Antifa and cancel culture right after we hit this intro. All right, Mark, let's get into it, man. You have some topics you want to hit on. There's an infinite well of topics to dip into as to what's going on in the world and especially the United States right here at home right now. So let's hear it from you. Where would you like to start?
Oh man, so just like you said, yeah, I mean, there's just so much right now. But we don't have all day to talk about everything. So, first off, I want to congratulate Donald Trump. Okay, and
I
these
wasn't
past,
expecting that.
yeah, no, we owe him a huge congratulations.
Okay.
Over the past 3 weeks, Donald Trump has made $1.2 billion with his crypto scheme. So I just want to round of applause for Donald Trump.
Yes, golf clap. Oh, he's done
Yeah,
it again. He has built billions out of other people and done it with other people's money, as is the expression,
yeah,
right? So if you're going to make money, and you're going to risk money, you want to risk other people's money. You want to risk your own money.
yeah,
So
yeah, and
congrats.
we'll get into it a little bit later about prices, and prices, they're not going down, they just keep going up and up and up. But it is nice to see Donald Trump be so successful in
At
the
our
presidency
expense, it's
at our
beautiful.
expense. Yeah, so but just like you said, I think the two main topics that we need to address is our cancel culture, okay, and Antifa, and I think they kind of blend right into each other.
Hmm.
And cancel culture is interesting, and there was a lot of negativity about cancel culture, and
Yeah.
it kind of started on the left, and then the right made fun of it, and then it became nothing, and now all of a sudden it's coming back, but it's kind of
Yeah.
showing up on the right. So kind of, once you break this down for me, Chris, a little bit, what's your perspective on cancel culture, where it's going, like what the
Yeah.
hell is going on?
Don't you hate cancel culture?
Yeah,
Don't you hate when someone makes a big deal out of Mr. Potato Head? You know what I mean? And
I do.
they're like, hey, that's not Mr. Potato Head anymore. That's just Potato Head.
Right.
Because when you buy this fucking toy, we're going to give you the top hat, we're going to give you the mustache, but we're also going to give you the dress, and we'll give you the lipstick lips, and you get all of it in one, and therefore
Hmm.
we're going to stop calling it Mr. Potato Head. We're just going to call it regular old fucking Potato Head,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So that was a whole to do, right? The right wing went nutso over fucking Potato Head. And they
Uh,
went nutso over Dr. Seuss books and Paw Patrol and whatever the fuck else that they thought was going on that really wasn't going on.
hmm.
Because they're always looking for they're always looking to be the victim.
Right.
They always want to have a persecution complex. This is
Hmm.
the mantra of MAGA. You know, everyone's out to get me. The war on Christmas. You can't be a Christian in America. I mean, you've heard the bullshit, right? And
Hmm.
there isn't a scintilla of truth to any of it. Okay, white dude right here, avowed white guy, get to walk around, don't have to worry about anybody talking shit about me, about my race or whatever. Uh, could be a Catholic, maybe. Maybe I'm
Hmm.
not. I don't hear shit about it. Okay,
Right.
I've celebrated Christmas my whole fucking life, never had to worry about it one fucking time.
Hmm.
But there's this fake persecution complex about what's being canceled. I can't celebrate my holidays. I can't put my nativity in my yard. It's all bullshit. Of course you can.
Right.
Of course you can, except if it violates some sort of HOA rule, right? And this is where all this stuff stems from, something so stupid and obtuse, and then they bring it in and they blow it up into this giant thing where they figure they can get a lawsuit out of it or some kind of case in court, as is the case with that woman that didn't want to bake a cake for the gay couple in Colorado, and then she wanted to run that thing, and the right wing grabbed onto that. They pumped a bunch of money into a lawsuit for her.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's just a couple cases, and they want to make it out to be that they're persecuted. And Mr. Potato Head is another example, and Dr. Seuss, and Paw Patrol. The left wants to get the police Paw Patrol out of there because he's going to beat minority. Dude, he's a fucking cartoon animal. The fuck
Mm-hmm.
are you even talking about? So
And they
this
were
went on for
super.
several years, right,
Yeah.
Mark? We
Mm-hmm.
heard this for years. You're right. It kind of died down. I would say there's been a hell of a lot more serious
Well,
situations and issues to
I would
address.
say it died down, but I would say it was almost killed because I think the Republicans and that right wing think tank did so well with that cancel culture and being scared of that cancel culture that the left was almost afraid to point out things that we were
Yeah.
pointing out, before and saying, hey, this isn't quite right. This isn't quite right. And then the right just says, you're just cancel culture. You're just trying to delete things. You're just trying to ruin America. You're just trying to end this. And now the left almost got a little frightened to come out and say anything because the right was so good at demeaning those people.
Yeah, Mark, it's a great point. It's certainly it's more it's salient and has more depth than me just complaining about Potato Head and fucking Paw Patrol. And so I appreciate you bringing that in.
Mm,
What I would say is there were those cases of the sports teams, the Indians or the Redskins, that right wing wanted to jump on that and say, you know, hey, you're canceling American culture by not keeping these, like changing these teams' names. Okay,
mm,
these teams have heritage and lineage, and it means something to the fans. Okay, I get all that. But if you're going to assess that certain group feels targeted, and demeaned by calling them Redskins, I could understand that. It's not for
mm,
me to say. I don't give a shit. Like, I don't fucking care. And I think a
right.
lot of people don't fucking care. But it's
No.
not for me to say whether a Redskin is offensive or not. Here's the other thing that people don't like to consider. There's a money-making opportunity when you change your team's name. They don't want to think about that. They don't want to think
Mm,
about the Indians changed to the Guardians.
right.
What could they do with that? There's a whole fucking slew of merch they can sell. When the Redskins change to the football team and then to the Commanders, a
Mm-hmm.
whole bunch of merch they can sell, guys. They have
I
more
didn't think
new
about that.
naming
Yeah.
rights that they can sell. They can pump up, uh, you know, merch opportunities, sales opportunities, sponsorship opportunities. All this stuff is going to come to the fore for them. You don't think they're thinking about that just as much as they're thinking about doing the right thing? Come on,
Mm-hmm.
man. We see what companies are like. We see what they're all about. All they're about is the fucking almighty dollar. So let's
And
stop
and let's
pretending like.
let's let's
Go
look
ahead.
at the word. Let's look at the word too. Cancel culture.
Yeah.
Okay, and what they're trying to do is just, they're afraid that we're canceling their culture, but what they're doing is canceling our culture. And whatever
Or
that
someone
is,
else, a minorities culture. Sure.
minorities or segmented groups or whatever it is, but the they're canceling culture, right? And culture is the main part of this word here. But what they're doing now, they've moved over to, it's not even culture. It's like state funded cancellation. And there's no heart to it. There's no audience. There's nobody supporting it. It's just one person in the White House, the president didn't like something that somebody said, and it's state oppression, and they're canceling those people.
Yeah. This is censorship. It's fascism. We keep talking about it. Mark, I mentioned to you offline that the biggest complaint or the greatest pushback we receive on our videos is that we don't understand what fascism is.
Mm,
And every day, these people give you a new example.
right.
I hope MAGA is listening right now. I hope they are
Mhm.
listening to what I'm saying because I've seen it on all our videos. People will go on there and they will say, "You don't know what fascism is. There is no nuance in this." And I appreciate you saying, look, if it's genuine, I appreciate the fact that you think that we don't have nuance. Okay, I don't spend all day crafting my talking points like a
Mhm.
politician. And I
Right.
thought you guys didn't like politicians. So I hope you give me some grace there and give Mark some grace, although he's an aspiring politician, right?
Mhm.
But besides that, you talk about the fascism. This is not fascism. Every day, guys, they give you a new example of what that means. And what it means is a single source of truth. The guy on top says what it is. That's the truth. He says what the truth is, and that's what it is. And that's the end of it.
That's
And he can
fascism.
control everything. He can dictate everything from the top down. That is what, and that's actually not how America is. It's not how the armed services function, as you know, as a
Hmm.
veteran. People on the bottom are empowered to make decisions.
Yeah.
That's why we have democracy and representation in America as a form of politics, as a form of our system of government.
Right.
It's from the bottom up. It's not from the top down. And they've forgotten that. They don't care about that anymore. And if you're listening to me and you're on the MAGA side, just watch what they're doing.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter that it's Jimmy Kimmel. Who gives a fuck? I don't watch his show. Who cares if it's Jimmy Kimmel? If the
I mean,
president
they
came
have
down
to
and
be
said,
okay. They have to be
yeah,
okay with the Democrat president coming in and firing everybody
doing
on
the same thing as
Fox.
you said,
It's the same thing.
if that ever were to come to pass. But what if Hannity gets off his knees, wipes his mouth off,
Hmm.
stops sucking his dick, and one day says something that Trump finds offensive?
Right.
Trump says, Fox News, what are you doing? Hannity, you hear what he said about me? Pull him off. Or these are the consequences, because that's what
So
this was.
this is the chilling thing about it, and a couple things from what you said. The first thing is, to anybody saying something about nuance, that we're not explaining fascism correctly. We're new to fascism here, and
Thank you.
we're trying to understand what the hell it is. And I would challenge those people to watch the video that I did with Jan Berkman, and he's a sociologist in Germany. And I spent a good 35 to 45 minutes with Jan detailing out what fascism is and how that is integrating into our system and correlating the similarities between Nazi Germany fascism and what's happening in America. So go watch that video if you think that we don't know what fascism is.
Mark, do you want to give like 4 bullet points, a handful of bullet points on that of what Jan had to say and how you were trying to find that connection to what we're experiencing today?
Oh, sure. So Jan is an amazing individual in Germany, and he is a study of sociology, and he's got a master's, and he's a super bright and intelligent individual. But we crossed paths very early. We crossed paths about 7 months ago, and started going back and forth. But long story short, he has released so many beautiful, poetic scripts and images, kind of showing, hey, America, you're entering this fascism state, and I'm kind of here to help guide you through what you're seeing and how to react.
Wow.
And it was interesting because Jan actually was very against me using the word Nazi because that was very much a
It's close
German.
to the heart, isn't it?
It's close to the heart, but it's a very much a German thing. Like,
Yeah.
we are calling what's happening in America, we're calling Donald Trump fascist, and we're relating that to Nazi because that word is so strong that it wakes people up, right? It jumpstarts you. Like, why'd you just call me a Nazi? Well, let me tell you, and then you can have that conversation. We understand that, that word isn't perfectly describing what's happening in America, but
Right.
I used it anyway because it was waking people up. And Jan was kind of against that a little bit. And we kind of split ways a little bit. And then we came back about 3 months ago. And he was like, Mark, I think. I used my way and I was watching your way, and I think you have a point that you have one chance at this, and your chance is now, and that your time is now to react. And
Is Jan
Germany,
an Eminem fan by any chance?
yeah, I have no idea. We didn't
Okay.
talk about rap music, but I will ask him next time. But anyway, it was interesting, and he said you have one chance, and right now is that chance. And if you have to use the word Nazi to prove your point, then feel free. And he almost blessed me to use the word Nazi. So
Wow.
um, there's a lot to that, but long story short, I would recommend you follow that man. And if you're on the edge of what fascism is and how that's relating to you, I don't care if you're MAGA or independent or whatever. that is somebody over in Germany that is studying fascism, that knows what fascism is, and he is mapping out exactly how it's correlating to what's happening here. So,
Mark, what's his handle on Threads so people can find him?
Jan Berkman, and it's JanBirkmann.
Okay,
Okay, so Jan
cool.
Berkman is the name, spelled Jan. But yeah, super cool guy. But that leads me to the second thing here about what you're talking about is Brendan Carr. Okay, and Brendan Carr, he is
Who is
on
this
the F
prick?
is a but he's on the FCC censorship board, and
Yeah, the FCC censorship board. Just call it what it is, right?
yeah, and that's what they are. They are
Yep.
censoring us right now. So, but he's on that, and he said some pretty awful things today. And he said we can do this the easy way or the hard way. Change conduct and take action on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC. He actually said that, Chris,
Yeah.
and then immediately ABC gets rid of Jimmy Kimmel. They weren't they weren't told to. They weren't, Trump didn't call them and tell them to. They heard on a podcast that somebody in Trump's circle was angry about something that Jimmy Kimmel said, okay? And they fired Jimmy Kimmel for that or released him indefinitely,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So there's a lot to wrap your head around there. But I think the biggest thing is that these people aren't even being shaken down yet. These companies aren't even being
Yes.
shaken down yet, and they're already reacting like a dictatorship. Now, wait until they are being shaken down. Wait until Trump does have full power over all these media stations. Wait till they finally do integrate more and more civilians into roles that are, telling on the private companies to the government officials. I mean, this is insanity, Chris.
Let me, and I'm getting some new info on the computer here that I want to make sure that I'm incorporating. I'm trying to listen to the audience, the MAGA. I'm trying to at least give the MAGA the opportunity to or the understanding that when you complain that we're not having enough nuance or we don't understand something, I'm willing to go on. I'm not like Donald Trump. Okay, I'm willing to learn more. I'm willing to concede if you have a point and try to be more detailed or have more data to back up what I'm saying. I'm okay with that. Um, he's not okay with that. And what he's not okay with is any kind of criticism of any kind. And what you just said is echoed by some very important people with an important voice in this country that we already know, like a guy named President Obama. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so he spoke about this
Yeah,
just within the last day or two, and Adam Kinzinger spoke about it this morning, and you've heard people talk about it, not just these two morons on this podcast, but many other people. What you cannot do, what you cannot do, is obey in advance. Okay,
mm-hmm.
you cannot capitulate before the weight of the courtroom
Right.
and the justice system has been brought against you. You
Mm-hmm.
cannot capitulate. There is no reason to. ABC was under no mandate by
No,
the FCC to do anything.
no,
Okay, and nor is it believed that they had any legal um, way to do that. There was no, they didn't meet some sort of criteria that required that the FCC needed to act. This was free
sure,
speech. It wasn't vulgar speech, which is, of course, entirely stupid that everything gets censored for vulgarity. But they couldn't even make that claim. So there was really no justification for
no.
anything that was being brought to bear against ABC and Nexstar. Now, if you understand how this works, Nexstar is a local broadcast station owner group, and they own 32 stations thereabouts across. Oh, they own more than that. They own 32 ABC affiliates,
Mm.
or somewhere around that number. And they were prepared to fully pull the plug on Kimmel, regardless. So Disney saw them react, jumped in I don't know why. I don't know what they're just, all these guys are just worried about their share price and whatever else they're fucking up to. But Nexstar has a deal they have in the works with Tegna, which owns another several dozen stations around the country, and they want their deal to go through. So they're not going to ruffle any feathers. They're willing to bend over and take it from that fat orange fuck in the White House and his fucking, Nazi inner circle, Stephen Miller, Brendan Carr, all these fuckers. By the way, just know that we hate you motherfuckers. When I say
And
that, I mean that. Mark and I fucking hate you cocksuckers.
it's
Um,
it's unreal, you know. And
you guys are fucking fascists. You fuckers are Nazis. Let it be known that we said that on this fucking podcast. You people are the fucking scum of the earth. You're some of the worst pieces of shit that this country has ever spawned. Because what you're doing is you're persecuting the Constitution of the United States and the people that it's supposed to serve. That's
mhm.
what you're doing, you fuckers, because you're weak. Not because you're strong. You're weak.
This is an attack. This is an attack on the First Amendment, and you're 100% right, Chris, to be that upset. I'm surprised more people aren't upset about this. This is somebody, and he didn't even say anything. He didn't even say anything controversial, in my opinion. There's a lot of things that were being said,
We have some
and
of it here. Do you want to see if we can
go,
punch
yeah,
this
play the
in?
clip if you got it there.
Yeah, let's see if we can punch this in. I want to give credit to this channel because I'm going to have to share this channel. I'm going to tell you, and I hope the people at home, maybe you guys can find this clip more easily. Mark and I tried to find the full clip, the full unadulterated clip, and we could not. For whatever that's worth, I'm not exactly sure what to make out of that. So I'm going to play this here. And all we've got is the first, I think, 15 seconds or something like that.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
So this is from the Guardian or Guardian
Yeah.
News. Looks like it's the Guardian magazine. And they went ahead and, had that. And then it's edited from there. You don't see the rest of it. That's all that he said. That's all that he said, that they're
Then
trying to characterize it as something.
he goes into then he goes into make a joke. He makes a
Yeah,
joke about something about Trump was interviewed, or Trump was asked a question, and right outside Marine One or something while the helicopter was going, and they said, "Or how are you doing about the passing of Charlie Kirk?" And Trump didn't answer the question, and he pivoted to something about the construction of the ballroom, and
that's
it
right.
was great, and it was really really odd, and it was funny, and that was it. That was the entire clip of why
Yeah.
this man just got fired.
Yeah. Mark, didn't Trump say they asked him how he was handling Charlie's death, his murder,
Hmm.
and he answered very well, I think, right? And then what happened from there?
Yeah, so I don't even know if he really answered. He might have said very well, I think. I don't even
That's
know if
it.
he
I
said
know for
that.
sure he said that, and that was it.
Did
And
he
then he
say
moved
very
on
well,
to
I think?
what?
And then he pivoted to, but we're building this beautiful ballroom, and you can look at the construction right over here, and blah blah blah.
Sociopath.
It was
I
bizarre.
just want you to know, if you're MAGA, if you're listening, if you're within earshot, this man is a sociopath. Do you understand? If
Right.
he gave a solitary fuck about Charlie, I
Mhm.
care about Charlie more than
So
Donald Trump does. And I don't give a fuck about Charlie Kirk.
so it's funny that you're talking to MAGA, because this leads me to another point here that I made a controversial post today,
Go
and
ahead.
um, so what do we do? Well, I mean, like, what do we do about this shit? What do we do when Jimmy Kimmel gets fired? What do we do about ABC? What do we do about the parent company Disney? What do we do? Do we stop watching everything? Do we boycott Disney? Do we not go to the parks? Because my family loves Disney. My daughter loves Disney. My
Sure.
son loves Disney. My wife, we go to the parks. We love it. We watch the shows. I have Hulu. Now do I cancel Hulu, or, and that's a pain in my ass, right? Because now I got to like change all my passwords and subscriptions, and I got to find like a new Disney. There's no fucking new Disney. You can't replicate a Disney. So what do you do? You know,
You want to talk about cancel culture? Disney is American culture.
right? So, I mean, do you just, and I'm not going to do that to myself. And I don't want people to be miserable as we're fighting fascism here. So my answer to you is to fucking fire MAGA people. You know what I mean? If you're employed by somebody that if somebody is MAGA, fucking fire them. Like I did it with the guy that mows my lawn. Okay, he was MAGA. And I called him up one day, and I didn't know. I just called him up one day, and I said, "Hey, I'm kind of doing something here. It might sound strange to you, but I'm not interested in people that support fascists mowing my lawn. Did you vote for Trump?" And he said yes, and I said, "You're fucking fired then." So I fired him, and then I called my pool guy, and I asked him if he was MAGA, and he said, fortunately, he wasn't MAGA, so I still have my pool guy. But I'll fucking fire him, and I know every state has different rules and laws and regulations about employees and what you can or can't do. But I mean, Jimmy Kimmel basically, he said something and he got fired from his job. So but people are posting posts online because of stuff that Charlie Kirk said, and they disagree with what he said. So those people are losing their job for voicing their opinion.
Yeah.
So I'm saying go to the Facebook and find out if your employee's MAGA, and if they're posting MAGA shit, fucking fire them. You know what I mean? And I know people are going to be like, you're going to get sued, if you do it. But there's pretty lax labor laws, really, realistically,
In
and
some places.
you don't
I
have
mean,
to tell them.
in
You don't have
Florida,
to
you
tell
can
them.
fire somebody, and
Yeah,
as long as you don't talk about it, it's
right.
you know
You don't have
you
to
fire
tell
them.
them, "Hey, I'm firing you, Jason, because you're MAGA." You don't fucking do that. You just say, I just don't need your service anymore, bud. You're gone, right?" And most of the employment takes place in metro areas. So, in my
Yeah.
opinion, I would say the majority of educated people are Democrats, because that's just because Trump
Well,
doesn't like uneducated people.
look, what did he say last week? What did
Right.
Donald Trump say last week?
Well, I think he said something like "smart people don't like me" or something like that.
Yes, that is exactly what he said.
So
He
what
said,
I'm saying, Chris, is don't beat yourself up over this shit. I'm not gonna go and fucking cancel Hulu and ABC and get my wife all pissed off at me. I'm not gonna do that to myself. This fascism ride that we're on, I'm gonna try to keep it as calm as possible for my family. But if that means that I can find somebody that's MAGA and fire them, I'm gonna fucking do it.
I do have the quote here. This is reported by the Daily Beast. He was at a gala in Bedminster, probably at his golf course. Smart people don't like me, and they don't like what we talk about. Smart people don't like me. And of course, he famously said, "I love the poorly educated."
Mm.
So, and let me retort to you, because I think what you said is controversial. But you're just trying to look, man. You're trying to shake people up, wake people up to the fact of the reality that we're living in,
Yeah.
and you're willing to go to that extreme.
Well,
And I don't have to
it's not
agree with you.
extreme. It's not extreme.
Okay.
They're doing it to us. They're
Uh,
firing us. They're doing it to us. They
yeah.
just did it to Jimmy Kimmel. They're getting rid of the first. What I'm saying is, if you see somebody supporting fascism and you don't
Yeah.
like it, fire that
Fire them.
person,
Yeah. Yeah. I get what
because you
you're
don't
saying.
want people working for you that are Nazis, in my opinion.
No.
Right? No.
No.
So fucking fire him. All
Yeah.
right. Moving on. Something is fucked up, man. And it's not getting any better. We talk
Something.
about Donald, huh?
Something. One thing.
Something. Yeah, and we talk about Donald Trump, being able to pocket $1.2 billion over the past few weeks
Yeah.
just from his cryptocurrency schemes. So
Scam.
I want to talk about pricing, because pricing is not getting any better. He promised lower prices on day one, and nothing fucking happened. So
No.
like we're fucking like 250. What are we? 230?
230 what?
236 days
Yeah.
ish. 236 days into the Trump presidency, and prices are up. So I want to play a game. All right,
Oh,
Chris.
I love
And
games. Talk to me about this new game.
all right. So have you ever heard of the show The Price is Right?
Let me think about that. Have I heard of The Price is Right?
Yeah.
I'm like Bob Barker now. I just turned around. I got my mic.
Oh, that
Huh?
was okay. Let's
All
go.
right.
Let's
Am I
go,
going to be the
Bob
host or
Barker.
you be the host?
I don't know. Well, you're going to be no. You're the contestant.
Oh, I love being the contestant. All right,
You're the
cool. So,
contestant.
yes,
You're
of
the
course,
contestant.
everyone knows. You want to talk about culture, American culture. Who can forget The Price is Right? The core of American culture. You know, fuck France
Yeah.
and impressionistic painters in Italy with the Renaissance. Fuck these guys. We got prices right. Okay? Continue.
Okay, so I'm going to make up the rules as we go here. And I didn't listen to anything you just said because I was trying to think of how we're going to run this game. Okay, so
That's a good way to have this podcast going. I
yeah,
listened to nothing you said just now. Just want
yeah,
you to know that.
we have great communication there. Okay,
Cool.
so this is what I put together, and
Go.
it's a spin off of The Price is Right. And it's called Roxy, shut up. This is called
It's
The
called Roxy.
Price.
Shut up.
Yeah, no, Roxy, my bulldog, she's barking.
I heard her
All
back
right.
there.
This is called The Price is Wrong. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And this is about pricing of consumables. So
Yep.
let's go. And this is going to be the game. You tell me the percentage increase that these products are up or down, the percentage up or down that these products are
Okay.
from December of 2024
All right.
to today.
Okay. December 24 through today, the price is wrong, and I'm going to try to get closer without going over on the percentage increase of that product.
Yes.
Okay. I'm ready.
Yes. All right. So, eggs. A
Eggs. Oh,
dozen.
Jesus. Why could we have to start with eggs,
We
right?
have to fucking start. I mean, that's
We've got this
so
orange cocksucker because of the price of eggs, from what
I
I'm
know,
told.
man. So let's just talk about it. A dozen grade A eggs.
Okay.
All
I'm
right.
be honest with you. I don't know, so I'm going to guess 25%.
Okay. So you're right that it is up, but you are way under the percent. So in
Under.
under in December of 2024, a dozen of eggs cost $2.86.
Uh-huh.
And right now they are between $5.12 and $6.23.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So
That's
that's
like
a
twice.
increase. We'll do this will be our practice round. That's an increase of 80%.
Holy shit, dude. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So that's crazy.
You can
So
tell my wife no more eggs.
no more fucking eggs. And you guessed what? I think what'd you guess? 20%?
I guess it's 25, a
25.
mere 25%, you know. If
All
you
right.
if I was at, you know,
You have
dealing
to
with a
be within.
negotiation and the vendor told me, "Hey, by the way, we just raised your prices 25." Get the fuck out of here. No, you
Yeah.
didn't, because we're not doing business.
All right. So you have to be within 5%. All right. Your guess
Okay.
has to be within 5% to get the right answer. All right.
Got it.
So eggs, you guessed 25%. The right answer was 80%. You would have got that wrong. Okay.
Yes.
All right. All right. And then, so we'll start off here. Ground chuck, 100% beef per pound.
I've heard a lot of people complaining about this one. I'm going to go with 75%.
Oh, not quite. That is an increase of 17%.
Oh, okay. So I
And
was way over now.
you're
So
way
the egg
over.
thing is like totally out of control. All right. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
went bust on that one.
Yeah. But I
I
mean,
went, all right. I'm wrong on that one.
but it feels like it, man. I was at Publix the other day grabbing a steak, and it was like $40. And I've never in my life have seen a steak at Publix that was $40.
So 17% in that particular steak, you know, may have been something like $33 or something, you know,
Yeah.
maybe $30, something like that before, and now it's $40.
Yeah. Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So that goes to our next one, steak. The last one was brown chuck. Now we're on to steak.
Oh, okay. Let's go 25%.
12.
12. Okay. I'm over
12%.
on that one too.
Yeah.
All right,
And
but
then
think
a lot of
about
that,
that.
the blame is
12% still.
on transportation cost, and then some tariffs on steel is what the blame was for that, I guess. Bananas.
Let's go 10%.
Ooh, 9%.
Oh, man, I'm busting on all these.
Yeah.
I'm busting. I did look up just now the year over year. It's 2.9% since August of last year. And as we all know, we had to get rid of that old guy, Biden, because
Right.
of the price of eggs and steak and everything else. So it's up 2.9% already on top of whatever the price went up from 24 over 3 and 3 over 2 and so on. And that obviously is not abated whatsoever. And it sounds like what you're saying with these core products, these core foods that every single person buys, they're 9, 12, 17, 80%. That's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah. And then you got, and then just going out to eat. Going out to eat. And so comparing December 2024 versus now, just going out to eat, what's the average ticket price? Gone up.
Let's say it's gone up 10%.
5%.
5%. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Which was interesting, you know. And I've noticed that too when I'm going out to eat. It's always been expensive in Florida. Anytime you go out with your family, you know, family. I got a family of 4. We're dropping $100, $150 probably, you know. But it's gone up considerably, you know. But crazy. And then this was all for gasoline. I'm pretty sure a lot of people voted for Donald Trump to get lower gas prices. And how much do you think gas is down between December 2024 and now?
How much is gas down as a percentage?
Sure.
Is it down?
Yeah, it's like, well, you don't even guess. It's 14 cents, man. Like just random, right? I mean, today it was 3.30. I was driving. It's weird. Like I drive by the pump. Some days it's 2.80. The next day it will be like 3.50.
I was gonna say I noticed the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I probably have to fill up maybe every 10 days and something like that, and I'll go by the same gas station. I'll get it for. I think what you said is exactly what I've seen. 289. Your next time I come by that same exact station, 319.
Yeah.
The fuck, dude.
Yeah, back and forth. So I mean, in my opinion, we're not really seeing much of a downtick in fuel. I haven't really
No,
noticed it.
you know, and let me opine for a minute, if you don't mind, on the price of gas being so fucking important that people lose their goddamn minds about it, and they want to
Mm-hmm.
either elect someone or kick someone out of office over the price of gas.
Yeah.
Okay, as it relates to inflation, gas has been static for 45 years. The price of gas is static for 45 years. And it does this on the chart, but it's the same. It settles in the same place. Adjusted for inflation, it's the same thing that it
Mm-hmm.
costs. And by the way, you know, 20 years ago, gas was when we here in Florida, we had all those hurricanes.
Mm-hmm.
Bush is invading the Middle East. Price of gas was fucking expensive. I got news for
Yeah.
you. Price of gas 2005, 2006, 7, 8. Right before, actually, right around the time of the crash. Price of
Yeah.
gas, dude, fucking $4 a gallon. Don't
Yeah.
forget that.
Well, I was talking to somebody. Everybody around me, like I said, is MAGA, right?
Yeah,
But I think we were just waiting at the bus stop, and this was before Trump was inaugurated. Okay, I think, but they were like, yeah, once Trump takes office, the price of gas will go down. You know, it was so like nonchalant, like this will
yeah.
just happen because
This will
he's in
just happen
office,
because he said so.
because he said so. And then you know, I'm like, oh really? I mean, like, what's he gonna do to lower gas prices? You know, and
Well, threaten people. That's what
right,
he
yeah,
does.
right. So and these people just aren't taking like A to B to C to D and doing that full alphabet thing. You gotta go down that full alphabet to see like where things are getting screwed up. You know,
Hmm.
if you just keep
Yeah,
skipping to Z all the time to the
yeah.
freaking solution, you know, you can do that in business. You can go straight to Z in business because you probably notice it, right? If you have an idea, you in your position, you're probably some sort of manager or something. You got an idea, and people just do it for you, right? And you go straight to Z and people figure out how to make it happen, right? But that's
Yeah.
not, that's business.
That sounds
That's not,
very Elon.
yeah, but that in government, if you go straight to Z and you forget to fund C and you forget to fund D, people fucking die. People die.
It's called,
You can't
CDC,
play.
NIH, USAID.
Yeah,
I know they're just letters, but they're kind of important.
yeah. So people are okay with the USAID basically disappearing and people dying worldwide, thousands and hundreds and thousands of people because they thought that Trump was going to lower gas prices.
Yeah.
Yeah, or they didn't like trans kids. Like, come on, guys, wake up. This
Yeah.
shit is stupid.
Yeah. It's a lot of, it's a lot of getting, and this is what he's excelled in for 10 years is, I called it this years ago. You think about the countermeasures that a submarine or a fighter jet might have. It throws depth charges, or it blows off chaff, and like a Sidewinder missile goes and chases that instead of chasing the airplane.
Yeah,
That's him.
yeah.
He's throwing shit out there to misdirect you
And they
all
go
the
every
time.
time. Every
And
time.
that's what he's done with either, we talk about trans. Listen, all due respect to everybody involved, it's not that important in the big picture. Trans
No,
rights are human rights. I don't give a fuck after that. Like, I don't need to hear about it every goddamn day.
no.
And he made it a wedge issue that
And
it's so important that we got to constantly fight that battle. What they're good at, to understand with things like abortion and gay rights and trans rights and things that liberals care about is to constantly keep you on the back foot so that you cannot. Remember, they look at it as war. Make no mistake about it. The right wing thinks we are at war. They've thought we were at war for many years now. They think
mhm,
this is a culture war. It's not a coincidence that you would hear O'Reilly talk about this for
yeah,
25 years, okay? They think they are at war, and they cannot allow certain things to advance. So have always found a way to put things in play to keep Democrats or liberals, progressives, whatever label you want to use, tied up with that shit, constantly
mhm,
defending that ground.
yeah.
Okay, that's what they do. It is war. Make no mistake about it.
And they
That's how they
they
look at it.
disillusion. They disillusion these people too. That
Sure, they break their spirits.
they break their spirits, but like I made a post about it earlier, and it's interesting because you talk to some of these MAGA people, and I'm not wealthy. But I've made like a decent living my entire life. But you talk to some of these MAGA people, and they say, "Hey, why are you voting for that? Why are you giving up your? Why are you voting against your interest? Like
Yeah,
why are you willing to give up this and this?" They're like, "Well, because that's not me. That's not me.
yeah,
I worked hard my whole life. I make a lot of money, and I got to look out for me and my family, and I like the tax cuts. And then you ask these people, okay, but you want these tax cuts, but how much money do you make? And a lot of them are like $90,000 a year, and you're like, all right,
yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome that you're making 90 grand, but Mr. MAGA person, that's not a lot of money anymore. You're broke, right? I mean, I used to sell health insurance, and somebody that had a family of four that was making 90 grand a year, they qualified for subsidies. They probably only had to pay $200 a month for health insurance because the government was kicking in the other 1,100.
right. So take that away, and they're even poorer than they were to begin with to qualify for subsidized health insurance.
But these people think that they're rich. And they think that they're Donald Trump rich. They think that they're flying in private jets or something, that they're going to get all these tax breaks. But they don't even some of them may say, I make 150, $200,000. And I'm like, that's cool, but you're not rich either. You're not Donald Trump rich either.
No.
And what you did with your $200,000 paycheck is you bought a nicer house and you bought a nicer car, right? And you got to work. to keep your bills going. You ain't
That's it.
rich.
You ain't rich. You're
We're
still in the
we're
system.
all in this
You,
together.
yeah.
You know, this is billionaire class versus us, 100%. And that's where it gets so twisted, and they add in all these different variables. And once you start, shedding them away, and you played nice with it for a while, and you start swatting those different variables away. Yeah, that makes sense. I get what you're saying there, but then it becomes overwhelming, and then the message just gets crushed under this weight of fucking fascism, right?
Listen, I've been saying this for a long time. The situation we're in, we arrive at this because the billionaires never wanted to pay their fair share of taxes. So what they've allowed to happen, or what has been allowed for them to do, is they use their money to buy politicians to advocate for their interests. Their interests are very simple: less to no taxes, less regulation, less government interference, less entitlements, fewer entitlements so that they don't have to pay for other people.
Mm-hmm.
These are the things that they care about. And everything else, like I said, when we're talking about using abortion or gay rights or whatever it may be, they create these battlefields to keep progressives or Democrats or liberals, whatever label you want to use, preoccupied with that instead of fighting the billionaire class to
Mm-hmm.
get them to pay their fair share. The wealth gap has never been wider than it is right now. Let me
No.
read the quote that everybody likes to reference from John Steinbeck. Socialism never took root in America because the poor see themselves not as an exploited proletariat, but as a temporarily embarrassed millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I'm a temporarily embarrassed millionaire. A lot of the times they will either, they, like you said, they think that they're more wealthy than they really are. They think that they're more independent than they really are. The reality is, and I've seen the stat, anywhere from 40 to 60% of Americans are within a paycheck or so away from being in poverty. Like
Mm.
if they lost one
Yeah.
paycheck, they would be what they would qualify to be as impoverished.
Right.
And if that doesn't break your heart, man, I just don't know what you're made of. I
Right.
don't know what you're. These are our countrymen. If you're MAGA, and I don't agree with you on fucking 99% of every political topic of discussion, maybe even social topics of discussion, I don't want to see you destitute and broken, because I think that if you were successful, you would want to see that other people had a great life.
Yeah.
That's what I would want. I do all right. I want
Right.
other people to do well, do better.
Right.
Listen, I don't need to be the best. You could do better than me. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
My ego ain't that big. And I think you're the same way. And I think that we don't have a society that's like that.
No.
And
Everybody's in
Donald
it for
Trump is
themselves.
continuing. Mark, let me just say this. Donald Trump is training people to think like he does, which is that everything is a zero-sum game.
Mm-hmm.
For me to win, you have to lose. That's Donald Trump.
Yep.
That's Donald Trump. And he wants you, MAGA, because we're not listening to this fucker. We don't believe any of his bullshit. It's all lies. But you do.
Yeah.
MAGA, you believe his bullshit. Why you believe his bullshit? The people that know him best never believed his bullshit. The people in New York never believed his bullshit. The banks that wouldn't loan money to him never believed his bullshit. The gangsters that he owed money to didn't believe his bullshit. And believe it, it's all fucking true.
Yep.
The people that he stiffed when he was building his fucking casinos and hotels and golf courses don't believe his bullshit. He's a liar. Above all else, he's a liar. And he's weak.
Yeah.
He's weak, dude. And,
They don't care. But they don't care. They
well,
they
it's
they
gotten to that point that they don't care, that, they're willing to sacrifice their own identities for this guy.
yeah. But they
People
don't
are
want to
dying
listen.
for
They
this
they
man.
they're in a cult. They're in a cult at this point that they're stuck and they don't want to listen. I was talking to a follower, um, or a supporter yesterday, and he was from Chicago, and super smart guy. He was like an engineer or something, and he said that he's lived there his whole life in that community near Chicago, like a suburb, and his family grew up there. his father worked at the same company that he works at. And his father retired 20 years ago. And he said he's making the same amount of money his father made 20 years ago. And then we have these billionaires that have 50 homes, that their wealth has grown so exponentially that it's impossible to even wrap your head around how wealthy these people are, that they can spend money without even thinking about the consequences. And then you have people that are making the same amount of money that their father was making 20 years prior. This doesn't make
No, dude. Listen,
sense.
that's horrible. That guy should quit that fucking job. Tell that company to fuck off. Because
Mm.
I mean, the disrespect knows no bounds when you treat somebody like that. But he's allowing himself to be treated that way.
But that's real life. That's
That is real
reality.
life.
That is real life. You know, I mean, if I go home to Indiana, Kokomo, right, and I've moved on from there. I've moved on to big business, and then I went to Florida, and and you kind of go back to a small home town, and you talk to these people, and they're driving like a really cool truck, and it's like a Dodge Ram or something, and it's got really loud pipes, and
Yeah.
you're like, hey man, how you doing? And you're like, oh, I'm doing good, living in Florida, having a great time, loving life, family's great. How are you doing? Oh man, I'm doing great. I just bought this $50,000 truck and blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh sweet man, well, like, tell me more about your truck. How, like, you must be doing pretty good. Oh yeah, I work at the factory in Chrysler, and I get like 60 grand a year. And I'm like, okay, wait, you make 60 or 80 grand a year, and you just bought a $50,000 truck?
Yeah, that math don't math.
That'll math up, man. And I was like, so like how? And then like some of these people are my friends, and I'm like, so you get to like go into a bar with them and drinking with them. You're like, how did that bank give you a loan for a $50,000 truck when you only make 80 grand a year? And they're like, oh, dude, it's like a 10-year loan. I was like, oh, a 10-year loan. I didn't even know they
Bad
did
business,
that.
homie.
I didn't even know they did that.
I didn't know for a
So
car. Fuck no, I didn't know that.
these
That's just
people
bad
are rolling
business.
around in these towns, and they think that they're Donald Trump, and they're fucking broke, and they're voting against their own interest
Every day, day
every
in,
day.
day out.
Yeah,
Again, with the billionaire class, they have created such a wedge between among Americans, among the many. There's 330 million of us. They've created wedges between so many of our groups, our cohorts in this country,
yeah.
and they've done it by design. They want to keep control. And when they found Donald Trump, they didn't want him at first. If you remember, if you go back 10 years, the billionaire class didn't want Donald Trump because he was talking all that populist shit. But if you remember, when he won, he went down to I think it was like the South Village or Greenwich Village in Manhattan, and he was in a very well known restaurant, an eatery that lots of rich people go to, and he went in there and he told them, I'm gonna take care of you. I'm gonna get your taxes down. Don't worry about anything. And that was his whole message. At the end of the day, after he talked all that shit to MAGA about the elites and all that shit, he went into business with them.
Yeah.
He went into that eatery and he told them he's going into business with them. And he's going to do whatever it takes, because when he makes them wealthy, he makes himself wealthy.
That's who he is. He's a crook. I mean, that's who he is. What? There's no secret. The guy was a
No,
crook. He's been a crook his whole life. I mean,
no.
come on. All right,
So
we gotta wrap her up, man.
we do have to wrap it up. We're going to do that. You had one other thing you wanted to say. We'll put a bow on it. We can keep it to a minute or less. Apparently, if you are Antifa,
Oh,
Antifa is an. Let me rephrase it. Antifa apparently is a terrorist organization. Am I understanding that correctly?
yes. Well, the only thing that you got wrong is organization because Antifa is not an actual organization.
No, it's not. Right.
No. So
So
what? I
it's
mean,
just
what are we doing there?
this is red meat. I used to talk about it all the time. Been talking about it for 10 years with this guy. He
Yeah.
just throws red meat. As I said, the chaff, the countermeasures. This is what that is. There is no Antifa. It's hilarious. Somebody started an account yesterday called Antifa HQ, and
Mhm.
it said something like, the meeting is at HQ at whatever time, like there is nothing.
There
No
is
one's going
no.
to anything. There's no Zoom call for this.
Yeah, that's scary. I mean, we could. Yeah. So the thing I would say to about this is um anti-fascist. So I mean when you call Antifa a terrorist organization, and they're not really an organization, and you know that,
Yeah.
they have been linked to zero deaths in America.
Yeah.
Zero deaths. They're not an
Zero. That's a
organization.
fact.
That's a
That's a fact, by the
fact.
way. You can look
MAGA
that
has
up.
been linked to over 400 deaths in America. Okay, I mean, you had El Paso, you had different shootings at synagogues, you had January 6th.
Churches, supermarkets,
It goes
schools.
on and on and on. They are the fucking terrorists, in my opinion. MAGA is the fucking terrorist, in my opinion. They've killed over 400 fucking people since they've been incorporated. They are a fucking organization. They are the fucking terrorists. So them using this broad paint stroke that they can say Antifa are fucking terrorists, they're just going after me and you, obviously, right? They're going after Jimmy Kimmel. They're going after anybody that is anti-fascist. This is crazy.
Let's actually crystallize it, because you're
Mm,
right. Antifa is not an organization. There's no boss. There's no clubhouse meetings. There's no chat group. There's no signal thing with Hegseth in there or some other assholes. So what is he saying? Since that doesn't actually mean anything, what he just
mm,
said, other than what he could evolve it to, but putting that aside for a second, Antifa, anti-fascists, are a terrorist organization. So
mm.
if you are opposing anti-fascists, what does that, by derivation, make you, sir? Makes you a fascist. Just like
Right.
what Mark and I have been saying this whole time, you, sir, are a fascist. Your
Yeah.
entire regime are fascists. You practice fascism. Okay? It's not an exaggeration. And again, MAGA, if you're at home, you're watching this, Chris, you're full of shit. You don't know what you're talking about. He just said Antifa, anti fascists, are terrorists, meaning we, the U.S. government, are opposed to anti fascists, and he's a fascist
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah.
You, Donald Trump. So, Mark, you have any last words? And they may indeed be.
No, I think you wrapped it up there. Donald Trump is a terrorist.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So let's put a bow on it. Everybody who's watched this, you've sat through this. Thank you. Keep supporting Antifa all over the United States. Support democracy. Support Mark Davis for Florida District 6. Until next time, dad bods and bad attitudes. Peace.